So today we're talking to my friend Noelle Neilsen. Noelle and I connected back in 2019 at a mastermind all about video creators. And today we're going to talk about how she uses video in her real estate business, along with her team, the Minnesotan team up in Minnesota. Noelle, how you doing today?
I'm good, Malcolm. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Well, tell me a little bit about your team today, kind of how you have that structure and what your team looks like today.
Yeah. So we launched a new team brand about 2 years ago with my business partner, Darren Bjerkness, who you also know him from our content creation days. And the whole point for me, I have had several versions of myself and my brand in the real estate business. And when we did this new brand, I really wanted something that spoke to the geography of where we are. Clearly, Minnesotan. It's relevant to the state of Minnesota. Everybody here in our state knows what it means to be a Minnesotan. And I wanted a brand. You can actually see it right here above me. I wanted a brand that I could put on like sweatshirts and hats and that people would wear, that our clients would want to wear, that they would want to be a part of, and have it also just speak to who we are. And it's a huge part of your identity. If you live here in this state, people really love being from this state. And so we started using that brand to build out the team and started creating a team that really revolves around the brand and the branding. And the teammates are also excited to use that brand. And one of the things too, that as I travel and I go to a lot of conferences for real estate throughout the year, people will be like, where are you from? What is that accent? And I'd be like, Minnesota. And then they're like, oh, Minnesotan. Oh, can you say bag? I mean, they never say it that way, but that's how I can't even not say it that way. Bag and boat and goat. And everywhere I went, though, people were asking me, what is my accent? And so instead of, trying to run away from it, we're leaning in. We are leaning into the ownership of where we are from and what we're doing with it. And it's a fun brand that people can get behind.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And how is your team structured? So you and Darren are co-team leaders, and then you have agents beneath you?
Yeah. So I've done all the things. I had my own brokerage before. I grew a fairly large network before. And in all of that and running a team, I realized I don't really love to do things by myself. I love to have a partner in crime with doing real estate. I think a lot of team leaders out there get super fried out because they're trying to do all the things on their own. And so I found a partner that, one, was passionate about content creation, just like I am. Two, that had experience that my teammates could also lean on. And three, was going to be there during the times that I'm traveling, or if he's traveling, I'm there for the agents. And so it makes a lot of sense for us to be able to bounce off of each other with the team. And then the team has multiple angles, who they can run things by, who they can, network with. And really about 4 years ago, I moved outside of our local Twin Cities market more toward northern Minnesota. I was able to geographically release myself from our business area and move. And so we can cover the whole entire state between our team. And so having team leaders kind of around the state makes it a lot easier to put events on and hold things and get to listings and showings and all of that. But yeah, it's a 50-50 partnership. And then our teammates can come in at a different tiered model. We've kind of structured our model in order to play very nicely with the cloud-based model as well. Our teammates are incentivized to also bring in their friends onto the team through the attraction aspect of being at a cloud-based model. And so when we rebuilt this team, I kind of knew what I was looking for when we were building it, so that it worked really well within that type of a setting. Because it's not the same running a model, a team model on a cloud-based model. It's not the same as being at, your local Remax where you just pop into the office. And so you want to be a lot more strategic when you're setting it up.
Right. And what do you think your top source of leads is for your team?
Yeah, I'm different. We do not buy leads. I've been down that route. I've tried all the things. I have bought all of the leads. I have been an advocate in the past of buying leads. And I decided that I did not want our agents being fed, I call it real estate crack. Basically, when you start feeding your agents leads and they get so used to that, they never learn how to fish for themselves. They never do that. And so when we created this team, I really wanted to teach our teammates how to go out, how to get listings. Because that's the number one thing. Listings win the day. And so we started teaching them how to market. Both Darren and I really love putting out video content, both marketing through our social media platforms. Darren, my business partner, has an awesome YouTube presence, YouTube page. He was going the highly local route with being from Woodbury, Minnesota. He created a YouTube page called Discovering Woodbury. And I had built up a platform through social media, through Instagram and Facebook, just putting out really different and unique content where people were putting their eyeballs on the stuff that we were putting out. And so between those two elements, we're able to kind of work with all different personality types on our team to encourage them to do what is unique and right for them on their sphere, and then go out and bring in more listings. And so now coming into year 2.5 really of our team, it's working. Our agents are getting listings. They're doing well. They're being incentivized to go out and get listings, and they're being rewarded with, good splits. So it's been really interesting to watch it grow this time around.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so your team has your Woodbury YouTube channel, and what's your content strategy yourself when it comes to video and social media? Did you say you're probably focused on Facebook and Instagram? Like that's your kind of two
Yeah.
biggest platforms?
Yeah. So for me personally, my strategy it's not going to look like a normal realtor strategy.
Yeah.
I decided a few years ago. So back in the 2019 timeframe when I was still running my own brokerage, I had a full-time videographer on staff, and I was putting out a ton of content and heavily produced content. I was putting out a lot of content. In fact, it's so funny because randomly this morning, an agent who just joined me at Real from Washington State, she's got her own team. She just joined with me. She messaged me saying she was looking at my Facebook and realized that I was the former owner of Bright Birch. And like, she didn't even realize that used to be me. And she said, I used to share your content all the time. And what's funny is because I was so consistently putting out really different content. That was my thing. I didn't want to talk about real estate in my videos. I just wanted people to know that I was a realtor. And so instead, I
Yeah.
wanted to put out content that people had fun watching, that they had fun engaging with, and just simple marketing, right? And so I started doing that, and I'd put out things about once or twice a week, usually that would be, pretty heavily produced. This was before reels were a thing. This was before short form content was really a thing. And I like to say that, when things kind of got crazy during the 2020 era of life, we moved away from having that heavy production. And I just kept using my platforms like I had been, but without putting out the heavy produced content anymore. I still do it on occasion, but not as consistently. But because I did it so consistently for such a long time, what a lot of people don't realize is it doesn't take that much to be able to ride on the fumes of what you put out. I think in our Gary V era of life, people think that they need to be putting out 12 pieces of content a day, or posting multiple times a day, or posting, people get overwhelmed. I for sure am one of those people. And I decided that if this was going to work for me and I still wanted to be meaningful online, I just wanted to do it in my own time frame, on my own time. A lot of weeks will go by and I won't do a single post. Shock. I live in my stories. I love living in other people's stories online. I use Messenger heavily in my world. It's what has allowed me to develop really meaningful relationships. And I will often go with long breaks at a time without posting, which is really shocking to a lot of realtors that you can actually do that. You can take a break. It's okay. Your people will be there when you come back. If you feel like you need to take a break and you're burning out, Take it. They're going to be
Right.
there when you come back. So yeah, I haven't been doing as much video as I once did because I, for a while, kind of got fried out on it, and I needed a
Mhm.
little break. And now I'm really excited to be coming back, and it's fun to come back when you're passionate about something and you're really excited to put out content.
Yeah. How important do you think it is for agents to build their own personal brand? Like a lot of times people will join a brokerage and they're tapping into the other brokerage's brand, they're a Remax agent, Keller Williams agent. But like how important do you think it is for you to have your own identity and have your own brand in today's real estate market?
I think it's everything. That is everything. I think your own brand is everything. You never know when something's going to change. You never know when you're going to take a new direction or a twist. And if I find a lot of people missing out on opportunities, not only for themselves, but for their families, missing out, missing the boat, missing the opportunity because they're reluctant to change because maybe they got the Remax balloon tattooed on their leg, right? We all know somebody that did that. Or maybe they like were just so arrogant because they said, "Oh, I will never go to real, or I'll never switch to a cloud-based model." And because their brand has been so intertwined with whatever that model is that they became part of. And then in the end, they're missing out on their own personal identity of who they are and what they have to offer the world because they've tied themselves to someone else's brand. You are your brand in this business. You are the only person really that should be dictating what you're putting out there, right? And I actually love teaching on that and inspiring people. Hey, stop being afraid of what people are going to think about you. If it's authentic and genuine to who you are, put it out there. Your vibe is going to attract your tribe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you, what does your daily routine look like as a team leader and as a, focus on production and content creation? What's your daily routine usually look like?
Oh, my routine looks a lot different from most agents. So 4 years ago, when everything was crazy and we made that move I talked about earlier, we moved to a farm. We bought a farm. We live on 120 acres in the middle of nowhere. And for a while, I was a goat farmer in that time period. So my daily routine then was really tied to doing my daily chores. We have since decided that the goats were ready for a new home, but I had 85 goats at the height of my goat farming career. And we found somebody else to take over the daily chores. But still, what I discovered during that is that I need to be outside. I, as a human, need to make sure that every day I am getting outside. And so even today, even this morning, when I am home, I get up really early. I spend a good solid hour before anyone else is up in the house, just in quiet time. For me, it's being steeped in the word, but for other people, it might just be like spending time reading a good book. And a lot of times for me, if I don't get that quiet time during the day, my creative brain throughout the rest of the day can't fire off. I have to have quiet creative time in the morning. And then once the kids are off to school, I've got 3 little ones at home. Once they're on the bus and loaded, I get my shoes on and we go outside with my husband and I. We will usually go for a 4 to 6 mile walk every single day, even in Minnesota, even when it's 10 degrees outside. If it starts getting below 0, it might be harder for me to actually get outside. But and then from there, I don't know what the rest of the day looks like, Malcolm. It's a blur.
Right.
Once the day gets started, every single day looks a little differently. A lot of times I am fielding Zoom calls. I live on Zoom. Zoom is my office now. I spend a lot of time with our agents in meetings and masterminding and planning and coaching and helping people. And I still do have listings and I still do go out and meet with clients, but my priority really these days has been within leadership and making sure that, I'm helping people that need it. And that's my day. And by about 8 p.m. at night, because I get up so early, I shut it down.
I love it. I think like having your morning routine and having your evening routine dialed in, like that's the important thing. You get a good morning routine in, everything else will fall into place after that. So let me
Yeah.
ask you, in terms of like personal development and like growing, What are like some podcasts or book recommendations that you may have for somebody who's trying to on this journey and trying to grow themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. My podcast list is also going to look way different from most other realtors out there. I love listening. I love listening to a really good conspiracy theory podcast every now and then. I love learning, and so for me, I like learning about things that are different that I can use to spark really engaging conversations when I'm with people. And so for me, when I'm learning about different things, things that are unusual, things that people haven't really had the opportunity to talk about, for me, it's really fun because those are my conversation starters when I am out networking with people. For books, in the last couple of years, I've read some really amazing books. You know, the saying is leaders are readers. And I used to hate reading. It's a miracle. I actually am an attorney and made it through law school. It's a miracle. I hate reading, really, but I do it because I need to in order to fill other people's buckets. One of the best books that I read over the last couple of years is called The Art of Impossible. And that's by a guy named Stephen Kotler. And it's all about high performers and how they achieve things that were originally thought of as impossible, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it goes on this whole adrenaline journey, talking about people that are just filled with adrenaline and how do humans push themselves into new limits and how do they explore. Another book that has been really great read, and it's a very simple read, is called Personality Isn't Permanent by Benjamin Hardy. If you're at least listening to this or you're watching this or you're a Malcolm fan, you're like, you know what? I could never put out videos like Malcolm, or I could never be unusual like Noelle. I could never do that. Think again. Personality isn't permanent. You get to be the author of your own life. Go read that book. It's super inspirational because if there's something about your personality that is a struggle, or you feel like you're limited in a certain area, you get to write that. You get to redo that. You get to be the author. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, no, those are both great recommendations. All right, Noelle, if anybody wanted to follow you or reach out to you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
I'm pretty easy to find. You just search Noelle the Minnesotan, and you can find me on Instagram or on Facebook, Noelle the Minnesotan, and just reach out.
So I recently started a weekly email of free training here at Real Broker that's open to all agents at all brokerages. Every single week, I personally hand select what I think are the 5 most interesting live trainings that we have going on that week in the Real Academy, and I send that out to my email list. If you like free training and you'd like to sign up for this weekly email, I have a link down in the description below. And if you'd like to see more interviews just like this on the Next Gen Agents Show, you can check out this playlist right here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.